students. Myself Miss Rachna Jain, Associate Professor, Department of English, Government PG College, Rajgarh, Alwar. Today in this video lecture, I am going to explain you the fourth or the last stanza of the poem Preludes. This is my fifth video lecture on this poem. This poem is mentioned in the syllabus of BA Part 3rd, English Literature, Paper 1st, Unit A. First of all, I read the poem. His soul stretched tight across the skies that fade behind a city block, or trampled by insistent feet at 4 and 5 and 6 o'clock, and short square fingers stuffing pipes and evening newspapers, and eyes assured of certain certainties, the conscience of a blackened street, impatient to assume the world. I am moved by fancies that are curled around these images and cling, the notion of some infinitely gentle, infinitely suffering thing. Wipe your hand across your mouth and laugh. The worlds revolve like ancient women gathering fuel in vacant lots. Now I explain you some difficult words in simple language. Stretched means lengthened. Fade means disappear. City blocks means blocks of the buildings. Trampled means crushed. Insistent means continuous. Stuffing means filling. Assured means sure about. Certainties means sureties. Conscience means soul. Blackened means made black. Impatient means in hurry. Assume means contain. Fancies means dreams. Curled around means moving around. Cling means stick. Infinitely gentle means extremely kind. Infinitely suffering means very painful. Wipe means clean. Revolve means in encircle, to go around. Ancient means old. Vacant lots means vacant places where nothing is available. These lines have been taken from the poem Preludes, written by T.S. Eliot. In this poem, the poet describes the life in a metropolitan town. In this last section, the poet describes the streets of a metropolitan town and compares it with a woman lying on her back. In these lines, the poet compares the street to a woman who is lying on her back. She passively endures the pressures of men mounted on her. The woman described in the earlier section puts before her eyes the picture of those aspects of which her soul is composed of. These pictures flicker on the ceiling of her room. Similarly, the street is also looking across the skies, whose vision is blocked by the city buildings and walls. At night, the city street has been trampled upon by 100,000 people who clutch tobacco pipes and evening newspapers in their short fingers. These city dwellers have their minds and eyes full of certainties. The street is like a woman. Both have blackened consciences and both wait for the day to begin. The poet then comments and says that these images bring to mind the picture of an extremely gentle thing subject to endless suffering. But one need not be very serious about these scenes. The day-to-day life of a metropolitan dweller is dull, dirty, monotonous, and poor. He is like an old woman who tries to collect fuel in the corner of the street which are vacant. It is really a very painful sight, but one can only laugh at such scenes. So, through a forceful metaphor, the poet compares this recurring and endless human misery, which is compared to the continuous work of gathering fuel in vacant plots by ancient or old women. The poet succeeds in creating the image of depressing life of the poor people living in the city streets. They are dispirited people living in the filthy environments of city streets. The poet suggests that in spite of the dirty condition of the life of these degraded creatures, for them and for us, there is no room of sentimental softness here. If one has to live and work, one must wipe one's stained face and laugh at the whole spectacle. The daily round of life, empty, monotonous, and painful, like the circular motion of poor old women gathering fuel in the vacant corners to eke out their life of privatization. The sight is too deep for tears, but one has to laugh in order to live. The poet means to say that the conditions are sad, but they are inevitable. We are helpless. We have to keep up a show of happiness in spite of all sufferings. So, the poem is completed. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.